Going into leadership from engineering can be difficult. I've gone through it. In these videos, I'd like to share with you what I've learned. Corporate rhetoric about team building, corporate values, and company loyalty often rings false, and for good reason. In 1992, anthropologist Robin Dunbar proposed Dunbar's number, which is a cognitive limit to the number of people with whom one can maintain stable social relationships, estimated to lie between 100 and 250. Despite any claims to the contrary, big organizations are not teams. They're not families. They're not communities. Positive social phenomenon can only scale up so far. One of the most pessimistic theories of human organization is the McLeod model of company hierarchy. Here, individual contributors are seen as economic losers, those that the company profits from the most. Managers in the middle cluelessly follow company rules and social norms, while at the top, sociopaths run the show. This is an extreme perspective. Maybe not all executives have personality disorders, but it is worth keeping in mind that people at the highest levels of a big company are very disconnected from those lower down. For someone very senior, it's not possible for them to connect with everyone below them, just like it's not possible for them to understand all the technical details about the work they do. Their priorities and concerns are different and are rarely communicated openly. So if you are an individual contributor or a first-line manager and you're in a company of many thousands, then it's likely to be run in a way that seems at times confusing and at other times ruthless. Corporate rhetoric should always be taken with a pinch of salt, as it is unlikely to reflect the reality of its truly important decisions. However, as a manager you don't have to be clueless, and your direct reports don't have to be economic losers. Engineering is a good career path, and joining a big company can be an easier path to success than working alone. Managers can have real positive impacts on their engineers' careers, as well as their own, by effectively building and leading their team. A team doesn't just mean a collection of people doing the same job or playing the same sport. There is a powerful social phenomenon where a group of people working together can come to trust, understand, and value each other. It improves motivation, productivity, and overall working experience. A tightly knit team works like a separate entity in symbiosis with the wider organization. While there is always a job to do, necessary work to meet deliverable targets, there will often be a degree of leeway on the approach and some flexibility on timing. This can leave room to work towards things that benefit the team, such as personal growth, career progress, or even political maneuvering. Whether or not a team succeeds depends heavily on its leader. For most of us, work takes up a large portion of our days, and managers are such a key part of that experience that they have a significant impact on our lives. Global analytics firm Gallup found that 70% of the variance in team engagement is determined solely by the manager, and teams with highly talented managers achieve 48% higher profitability and 22% greater productivity than those with less talented ones. Using that power wisely, you can bring your direct reports together into a closely working unit. Teams are a kind of social connection, and as with any other kind of relationship, they need a foundation of trust. So the most important thing you can do to build a team is to build trust, regardless of your personality, management style, strengths, or weaknesses. People will forgive a lot from you if they know you have their back. You can build trust by being reliable, giving credit, and making people feel heard. So, put in effort when the team relies on you, and acknowledge their efforts when you rely on them. Listen to your team, and take their ideas and concerns seriously. In one-to-one meetings with your direct reports, discuss their career goals. Collaborate on a plan for them to move forward, and then follow through on your part. Trust in each other's abilities is almost as important as loyalty. If you see your team as an asset and give them credit for their work, they will come to feel appreciated, and will believe in themselves and each other. It helps to delegate effectively, and I have a video on that topic. Being overly critical, getting angry, or fostering resentment can undermine this trust, and may ultimately work against you. Trust can be eroded if you don't show your team that you value and respect them. This can be tricky, as there is a power imbalance, so your words may carry more weight than you intend. Also, people have a natural bias towards focusing on giving negative feedback. You may very often give detailed criticisms that don't balance out against your infrequent vague encouragements. In the famous book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, The central advice involves reversing this bias and instead giving genuine appreciation and positive reinforcement. Thoughtful and specific praise feels more sincere and so can have more impact. It's best to give negative feedback in private. If you belittle or undermine people in front of others, that will undermine their faith in you. In particular, if any of your reports are managers themselves, criticizing them in front of their own team is especially damaging. Appreciation and credit can be given in public. This can even help build shared pride. However, when giving positive feedback, it's good to be sensitive to how others will feel. Praising with comparisons and otherwise playing favourites can set up a competitive atmosphere that is demotivating for everyone. The genuine social connections that go into building a team can form while working together. However, they can also grow organically when spending enjoyable time together. You can directly encourage this by arranging social activities, as long as you're careful to choose something everyone can enjoy. You don't have to make close friends with your direct reports. In fact, this is an area where you may need to tread carefully because of the power dynamic. Your role will often be to play the host, overseeing as much as participating. However, if you are sensitive and set your boundaries carefully, you can enjoy socializing with your team, and this can make leadership more rewarding and engaging for you. As your team grows, it will develop its own way of doing things, along with some shared ideas and perspectives. Shaping this emerging culture is key to shaping the team itself. Setting expectations and adopting best practices can push your team to value a level of quality and rigor in their work. Those expectations could also include working hard, growing and taking risks, or being willing to take on less interesting tasks for the sake of the team. Equally importantly, you can have a strong effect on how team members treat each other. People want to feel valued, respected, and listened to. So you may want to encourage your team to be appreciative and polite, to discuss issues collaboratively, and stay calm during disagreements. You can share your vision for the team and gently guide people's behaviour when situations arise. However, your primary tool for creating team culture is leading by example. As the famous narrative technique show, don't tell implies, information has more impact when it is conveyed through actions, not words. For example, you could set up group discussions before making design decisions. If you listen to everyone's opinions and make thoughtful responses, that will set the tone for how discussions work, as well as making everyone feel heard and more engaged with your leadership. Sometimes, managers have to make difficult decisions and compromises, which might be at odds with the team culture you want to build. However, if you are honest about the constraints you are under, your team will better understand and accept the choices you make. Although you are building a team, it is important to not forget that it is made up of individuals. Marcus Buckingham and Kurt Kaufman's book, First, Break All the Rules, is a study of highly successful managers from around the world. These leaders focus on attracting, growing, and retaining individuals with talent. They take a flexible approach to management, fitting roles and expectations to match specific abilities, with very successful results. When thinking about developing a team, it may be tempting to focus on fixing weaknesses. However, that involves giving a lot of negative reinforcement and pushes your team to be more similar to each other. It's smarter and more productive to recognize and play to individual strengths. This uses positive reinforcement and pushes people to excel in areas where they already stand out. As well as matching tasks to abilities, you can also adjust to ambitions. If you are aware of your team members' career goals, you can grow them in directions they want to go, getting more out of them while helping them at the same time. Other differences matter too, such as communication styles, motivations, and work cadence. In general, the more you understand and adapt your approach to the members of your team, the more successful they will be. Building a strong team can increase productivity, provide greater work satisfaction, and help your career. It can even help with navigating the politics of a large organization. But that's a topic for another video.